best way to get better at programming is to practice. In this example, we want to write a simple program which is going to allow a person to guess a number. Now, I've already got a couple things started. For example, import random and kind of a little header to get people started. You can download that file from the link provided in the description below. Then you can pause this video, write it on your own, and if you get stuck, use this video for assistance or check your answer when you're done. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to have the computer guess a random number. We'll say computer guess equals random dot randint, and randint we'll say between 1 and 100. So this is going to give us our random guess. Now you have the user guess a number, and we're going to go through a loop seeing which they are until they get the right answer. So we'll say human guess equals -1. This way we know that it's not going to be correct. And we'll say while human guess is not equal to computer guess, human guess equals int input what is your guess. Human guess is less than computer guess. Print. That was too low. Elif human guess is greater than computer guess. Print. That is too high. Else print you're correct. Okay, so this is going to ask the user for a number and it's going to form a guess. Let's see why we want to use an exception real quick. So I'm going to come in here. What is my guess? We'll start in the middle, 50. That was too low. And let's say I say something 5.5. Notice that I get a value error. It doesn't know how to compute this. Why? Well, it's supposed to be an integer. I used an int and I typed in 75.5. This could happen with a lot of things. So instead of maybe typing in 50, I accidentally had the shift key pressed and I said %0. You see, it just doesn't know how to handle that. So this is why we want to use an exception to check the validity of the number. Now, we don't know if it's the right number. We're just checking to see if it's valid. So the way that we check to see if a guess is valid is to use what we call a TryAccept block. So before my human guess, I'm going to type in try. And this says where I'm going to try to do something. What am I going to do? Well, it's going to be in that code that's inside of it. So I'm going to select all my lines, hit the tab key once. It should push me all over. Now, if you're using something other than Visual Studio Code, this may or may not happen. The good news is most of the time this is going to happen with your code. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say accept. This is the special keyword. So notice that try and accept are both that purplish color in Visual Studio Code. That means that it is a built-in keyword. It's a command that we're issuing. Now with try, we don't do anything with it except put the colon to start the block afterwards. Except we have to specify what type of exception do we want. Well, luckily because we saw the error before, we know that it's a value error. And this says, what are we going to do if there's a value error? Well, I'm going to still print a little error message. So I've got a little error message, and then I'm going to exit from this. Now, what this does is this TryAccept, anything in here gets ignored once it sees that first error. We're going to print the error message, and then we're going to continue. So let me come down here real quick. I'm going to clear the screen so it's a little bit easier to see. Run. What's my guess? And once again, I'm going to do the example where I had the %, 0. Notice that I still get an error message, but instead of all that other mess of information, which is really useful to a developer, but not to the everyday person, they're not going to see it. They now see a friendly message, and notice it didn't crash the program. It's going to ask them for another guess. So I'm going to put in 75. Oh, that was too low. I'm going to go halfway in between. Notice that with the decimal point, it's not liking it. It says only give me whole numbers. I'll say 40. That's too low as well. Oh, 75 was too low. I should have picked a higher number. Let's pick 82, 83. Too low. 90. Too low. 96 is too high. 94, too high. Woohoo, we got it right. Took a little bit of guesses, mainly because I started down the wrong path. I'm human. Alrighty, so let's look at this. Is there anything else that we could do if we want to go further? You bet. We could say, hey, could we make it so the user can easily play the game again? You betcha. So we could go in there and set up maybe a little sentinel loop and have the say, hey, do you want to play again? Yes or no? And if you do, you go and you play again. So real simple to do that. I encourage you to try. Might be another good place to have some other exceptions that you can use. All right, that's it for this one. If you want to get better at programming, I suggest that you subscribe to the channel so you can see other videos that talk about how to program and how to get better at programming.